This one's actually a little bit complicated. What's up guys, I'm Hunter here, and here we are to do a breakdown / discussion on what Satoru Gojo, the strongest sorcerer of the modern days, worst stat is. Yeah, not his best, but his worst stat. Out of power, speed, durability, and hacks, like, what actually is the worst stat of Satoru Gojo? I don't know what that was, but I am a little bit concerned and confused. What was that? But let's not waste any more time and let's hop right into it. Heading me. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1, go. What's up, guys? That guy with a pencil here. Fun fact, I do happen to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. And another fun fact, Satoru Gojo's weird to talk about in terms of, like, worst to anything. I'll be completely honest with you. He's just a weird fellow to talk about in that sense. Because he's so good at everything. Like, this is just a narrative part of the character. Like, bro's just the best at almost everything, except for certain things, thanks to a certain strongest sorcerer of all time. But with it being the case, what his worst stat is only easy in one sense, because it's not hacks. Like, it's not hacks. Like there's, you can never, I would dare you to get in the comment section and try to look at everyone else and me in the eyes and try and tell me or anybody else that Satoru Gojo's worst stat is his hacks. You can't. You get, like, no. So that's the easy part. We can just wipe hacks off the table. So we got to choose between power, speed, and durability. And notably, all of those stats are good for Gojo. The only thing is, one of them's kind of under-tested, and that leads to a debate with the other. If you know what I'm talking about. But let's actually get into it. So, for hacks being wiped off the list, that's easy, that's nice, that's clean, that's buttery. But I do think there's another one we kind of do need to wipe off the list. Mainly because, that's the thing, it depends, how much do you blame it on his hacks, how much do you blame it on his own genuine ability? Speed. Speed is the one that's a little bit contentious for me. Mainly because I want to wipe it off. I want to wipe it off and be like, nah, his speed can't be his worst stat. Mainly because he's not slow. Like, notably, we see numerous times where Satoru Gojo is curse techniqueless, and he's still relatively speedy. Of course, he has his moments where he uses lapse blue or any variation of blue to amp his speed to catch people off guard and stuff like that. But typically, he's just, like, actually weirdly speedy. Sure, he gets caught a couple times, especially in the Gojo vs. Sukuna fight, but he still is able to do things with just raw combat ability. Like we see here, he's curse techniqueless, he's getting slashed up, and he still goes to run away. And sure, he doesn't escape, but he does run away, react to a kick from Sukuna, then knee Sukuna, only to get dragged into something, and then punch Sukuna with curse energy reinforcement. Sukuna does dodge all this and takes basically no damage, but still, his speed is fine. Like, it's not necessarily a bad stat. And of course, if you go back to, like, the Jogo and Hanami fight, they just can't tag him, even when he's curse techniqueless. So his speed is fine. I don't really see an issue with his speed. So I want to remove it. But at the same time, considering a lot of his best speed feats are in combination with his hacks, I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. You know what I'm talking about? Because, like, part of me wants to give it to him. And I would say, generally, if we're not, like, excluding hacks fully, I feel like his speed is one of the best things to combo with his hacks. And notably, just his general speed is also very, very good too. Like, not just in terms of combat when he has no curse technique, but even the ability to activate something like new Shadow Style Symbol Domain before Sukuna does anything, even though admittedly Sukuna was kind of just standing there waiting for him to do something. He does activate Symbol Domain really quickly, enough that he's able to push off everything. In terms of just general speed stats, like his healing speed is fantastic. His curse energy reinforcement speed is fantastic. All of his general speed stats are fine, if not above average, in literally every single way, shape, and form. He's only inferior in RCT to one guy. The guy who's actually immortal for 4 minutes and 11 seconds as a byproduct of his entire curse technique. And that's impressive. That kind of healing speed is something that even Sukuna, I'd say, fails to replicate. So that's pretty darn impressive, if I do say so myself. And that technically falls under speed, but RCT falls under hacks. So do I say it's speed? I don't know. Speed is kind of weird, but I wanna take it off. But of course, I'm biased. If y'all think speed is his worst stat, feel free to justify it. I love speed. Just that, not in that way, but like, I love speedsters, and Gojo's kind of a speedster, so I'll take what I can get. For the next step, I feel like is a little bit devious, a little bit diabolical, a little bit strange, because of how untested it is. Dare I say it's kind of his durability. And don't get me wrong, this is just a byproduct of his hacks being so good, right? So we basically get to see no one who could actually damage him. Because we can't say his durability is garbage, because, oh, look at all the damage he took from a level in Shrine. His durability can't be good. It's literally Cleave, which auto-adjusts to your durability. It just does it for real, for real. I can't take points off for that. So I gotta go to the times when he's meant to take damage, and ultimately he kind of doesn't, which is crazy. Like we see back in their initial encounter back in 224, when the two are kind of just running around and having fun and punching and swinging. The moment Sukuna goes to like break through Infinity using Domain Amp, Gojo doesn't particularly take any damage. He grabs the fist, and then they go through the building, kind of just vibing. They're punching around, they're chilling, and then that's it. No damage is taken on either side. And then, of course, once again, I feel like I kind of have to discount my level in Shrine because, Cleave. And then he does seemingly take little to no damage from Sukuna's kick here. And, of course, Sukuna takes no damage back, but still, his durability is solid enough, even when being assailed by countless cleaves. The ability isn't shown very well here. I don't blame Gay. It takes a lot to draw. But with it being the case, his durability, once again, seems mostly fine, and every other time his durability would seemingly enough be compromised, it kind of isn't. Like, look at the whole interaction. Not here, not here, not here, not here. But, ironically enough, here, where he, once again, is forced to take a punch from a Sukuna who clearly is able to react to him. His fist gets caught, he gets punched, but he takes basically no damage. He gets knocked away and is forced to recover off a telephone pole. Not a telephone pole, Lord. A traffic light. But still, he's fine. Like, he doesn't take any damage at all. And any damage we see here is remnants of his nose bleeding. And, like, maybe you could argue this is damage somewhat from the punch based on where he gets punched here, but considering this is already here before the punch and the punch is on the other side of his face folds, but that's about it. His durability is actually pretty solid. And, like, the only time where we see someone fully capable of compromising his durability with a sharp weapon, which we know, weapons do matter in JJK in terms of the reinforcement, how dangerous slashing damage is versus blunt damage. He also kind of takes minimal damage. Look, he's caught off guard by Big Raga. He doesn't expect to fall into the shadow. He falls into the shadow. He gets grabbed. He sees Maharaga come in with that big old beefy sword. Maharaga grabs him, yanks him in close, slashes directly across his chest, and it's barely a flesh wound. Doesn't tear open his shirt. He doesn't even note it as, like, extreme pain. He kind of just takes it, and then keeps it pushing. Like, his durability is kind of crazy. It's weird to say, but once again, he's the strongest sorcerer of the modern day. Of course his durability would be kind of crazy. Even a mostly adapted Maharaga can't really bypass his durability until he unlocks Spatial Slash, which is during egg. And once again, sure, durability, at least in my opinion, is like the least important stat in the verse, because almost every single high tier has some way to surpass it. But high tier, especially the god tiers, have ways to surpass it. But still, he pretty much heals it off while his curse technique, or his reverse curse technique output, is in the trash, and he barely even acknowledges it. Then he just heals up and keeps it pushing. If he was fodder, if his durability was garbage, like some people claim it is, then he'd be bisected by Maharaga's casual slash, but he's clearly not. So, he's kind of just that guy in terms of durability, too. It's weird. It's weird. I don't know. It feels weird saying it, but he is. And once again, he kind of just doesn't get hit by anything until he does get tagged here. Where is it? He does take damage from the piercing water. That does break through him when his infinity shut down through contact with Maharaga. But even then, it's barely a flesh wound. Like, oh wow, piercing water from Minifant barely broke his skin and made him bleed a bit. Okay. That's coming from the strongest sorcerer of all time. And it still just barely pierced his skin. Didn't even go all the way through his arm. Like, it'd be one thing if this piercing water went in and then just, like, shot out the other side of his arm. It doesn't. It probably hit his bone and just stopped. His durability really, it's kind of like that for real. Ultimately, I hate to say it isn't. But with that being the case, it even leads into a weird spot when he's fighting, like, Ahito and them, where Ahito does knock him about a little, kinda, maybe? But even then, not really. He kind of bullies them, because notably Sukuna isn't fighting for the first part. It's mostly an Ahito Maharaga jump fest. And even then, they both struggle to even hit him, not to talk about damage. And then by the time they finally do get out, after Spatial Slash is unlocked, when his durability gets negated and he loses his entire arm, well, guess what? Sukuna comes out, jumps him a little bit, lands one kick, knocks Gojo back, barely does any damage with said kick. And then, okay, admittedly, it's a little bit more damage. That kick is presumably what did this. But still, that kick does this, which is barely a flesh wound, and then he one-shots Ahito. Ahito's punched to the back of the head. I think either gets blocked by Infinity, or Even worse, considering there seems to be some minor blood splatter, it basically did no damage. His durability is kind of stupid too. Like, he's just bulky. He's bulky. Is he as bulky as Ryu? Maybe. Probably. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Once again, just because of the comparison. But even then, someone survived multiple cleaves. Someone got one shot by one of them. I don't know. Unless you want to argue Sukuna was holding back in domain, which may be the case, but still. I would say that the casual cleave that Sukuna had used on Ryu is much less impressive than the Malevolent Shrine that Gojo face tanked. Admittedly with RCT, though, so it's debatable. But still, I say Gojo's durability's fine. But if his durability's fine, his hacks are crazy, and his speed is good, then what could be his worst stat? Yeah. It's gonna sound crazy, considering he's the strongest sorcerer of the modern day and the second strongest character in the series. But I think ultimately, I have to say Gojo's power is kind of like, not booty meat, but like, it's his least lacking. It's not a bad stat, but it's his least lacking of any of his stats. Like, notably, Gojo does basically no damage to Sukuna with just his fists. And remember, his fists are being enhanced by his hacks, and every time they exchange blows, they throw hands a little bit, nothing really happens. Like, you see these two, they exchange hands, they go blow for blow, Sukuna tags them, Gojo tags them, but no damage is being done. Why? Sukuna's domain amping, and thusly, Gojo's regular blue punches aren't doing anything. And then when he lands a hit here, it looks like it does some decent damage, only for Sukuna to reveal, haha, plot twist, no it didn't. I was using you. So he does no damage there. We see in the earlier encounters, he doesn't really do any damage when boxing Sukuna. Admittedly, he's under the effects of Malevolent Shrine, but he hits Sukuna in the gut after blocking one of his hits, does nothing to Sukuna, and then Sukuna even traps him with the leg lock, and Sukuna casually dodges, and a strike does that to the ground. I don't know, his punches they don't do too much. And once again, when they go to exchange blows, nothing really happens, no damage really happens. And the same thing continues here. His regular hits, while he's in Curse Technique Burnout, where we're seeing just his raw power, do nothing. And realize, all the major damage he does to Sukuna is when his hacks are being applied to his base power stat. Like, for the damage he does to break through Sukuna's domain the first time, it's only done by, presumably, we don't know exactly what it is, but it seems like it was possibly a blue punch or maybe a red shot directly to the chest. It's not like he just punched Gojo, or Gojo punched Sukuna real hard with his basic power, and then boom, broke through the domain. It was most likely a blue hit, and Sukuna heals it off. And then, of course, when we go into their next domain clash, once again, we kind of run into the area where the thing that breaks the domain is, in fact, the blue punch. The punch where he enhances himself, speeds up, and then launches into Sukuna with a punch coated in blue. Not his own raw power. And even his regular punches, once again, they struggle to do damage. And this isn't even a regular punch, presumably. Actually, no, this is a regular punch, and once again, it does no damage. Look at Sukuna's arms, entirely untouched after getting hit by a regular Gojo punch. And what happened here? What broke his domain in this clash? Oh, it wasn't this fist punch that Sukuna blocks. Fist punch? Lord. It wasn't this punch that Sukuna blocks. No. It's the red that Gojo shot in his face. Even the biggest, heftiest, slobber-knockiest punch that Sukuna takes in 232, it's a combination of a red backshot, which detonated on Sukuna's spine, in combination with the forward motion of the blue dragging Sukuna into Gojo's fist, in combination with a black flash after Gojo likely launched himself with blue. That's a whole bunch of hacks. That's not actually too much power. So if I had to say, Satoru Gojo, the strongest sorcerer of today's worst stat, it's probably his power. Obviously, he doesn't need it. like, his other stats compensate more than enough. His speed feeds into his power. His durability kind of feeds into his power. And especially his hacks feed into his power. Obviously, if you have red, blue, purple, limited void, you don't really need to worry about your raw power stat. But due to that, I think it actually falls the shortest. Which is weird to say, considering he's known as the most powerful, the strongest sorcerer. But his regular hits, they kind of don't do all too much. So I have to say, that's it. That's his worst stat. But that's what I think. Please, what you guys think in the comment section down below. Do you guys agree with me? Do you think that, hey, despite being so mighty, Satoru Gojo's power has to be his worst stat? Or do you think I'm absolutely crazy in that one of his other 3 stats, I swear if you say hacks, I'm going to lose my good mind. But if one of his other stats may actually be his pinnacle, or his, not pinnacle, the opposite of pinnacle, his worst stat. Please let me know all that and more in the comment section down below. If you made it all the way to the end of this video, please do me a favor and leave power cell. Either power cell as in like power space cell, C-E-L-L, or power cell as in like power and then cell, S-E-L-L. Either one works perfectly fine. Leave that in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. And make sure you hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any videos that come to the channel. Also, I do happen to have a Patreon down below where you can support me for as low as $1 a month, things like exclusive videos, early content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks include the live reaction to the very next chapter of Jujutsu Kaisen, ad-free variations of all my videos, and if you become a $25 patron or a $25 member, you can order whatever video you want. Also, I do have a link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below. You can drop 5 beans for a short video, 25 beans for a long video, or any beans at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now, thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is that guy with the pencil, writing off. I'd like to give a thank you to our $3 members, Zera, Greyhound, Eternal Flame, NMA, Real Rare, Redwolf 4765, Paris Arnold, Astro, and Brandon Payne. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $5 patrons, Zombie Hunter, Sean, Midnight Lord 21, King, Meliodas, Kevin, Encarnacion, Josh Brown, and A+A. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $7 members, Autumn, Mornings, Lazo, and Fine. And I'd like to give a thank you to our $10 members, Robbie Uchiha, Jay Warrior, and AZ Void. And I'd like to give a big ol' thank you to our $10 patrons, Michael Williamson, Joaquin Munoz, and Idem Okami. And I'd like to give a final gargantuan thank you to our $25 patron, Calvin Elder.